Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. We're going to solve the Times Cryptic crossword now. Let's have a look at it, see how we get on. Just a reminder, if you do like the videos, please do share them. Please do subscribe to the channel, it really helps us. Okay, so let's have a look at one down just because it's two words. PS offer to secure run for African predator. Something lion maybe? PS offer. No, not getting that. Cross. Smoked sausage, the Spanish, served in cabbage. Okay, yes, I have got that one. So here, as we've seen before, the Spanish, we should always be thinking of a Spanish translation for the word the, just as if we saw the French or a French or something like that. So we need to put EL in the middle of something here, and then it's really just coming up with the right smoked sausage. I think that's easier than coming up for the 5-letter cabbage, for me anyway. So I think the answer here is saveloy. Let's have a look at the V starting 2 down. By way of, okay, I'm immediately thinking via here. Tube, reaching bridge-like structure. So via, once we get via, it's easy. A bridge-like structure, well, that's going to be viaduct, and then you can see a duct is a tube there. Break allowed on way to London, perhaps. Okay, so one of the interesting things you sometimes see in the puzzle is references of going to London. And when you go to London, you normally refer to as going up to London. So I think this is going to end in up. So it's now just coming up with a word, so an expression that means break that fits this pattern, and that's pretty easy. Again, so let up, and then we can confirm it. We can see the word allowed there. So allowed obviously means let. So that's how that one works. Another very useful starting letter here, a Y. The solver. Okay, that's probably U, isn't it? Y-O-U. Gets sent out with note, being most junior. Okay, so this looks like it's U. And then an anagram, I think, of gets here, with note. Well, note, I talked about it yesterday, and I think I listed the two main categories of things note could be. So it can be do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, or do again, or A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. And here we have the third thing it can be, which is an N. N can be an abbreviation for note. So if we anagram N and gets, we get the ending here of youngest, which is, of course, the most junior. Okay, let's have a look at 8 across. Church worker, priests in centre, employ a singer. Well, this is a slightly odder word. But even if you don't know the word, it is possible to build this up from the wordplay. So I'm going to tell you this is a word for a singer, 9 letters. Let's try and build it up from the rest of it. Church, well, again, if you've been following the series, you'll know this has 2 main abbreviations, 2 main possibilities. One is CE for Church of England, the other is just CH for church. So looking at this, I think it seems much more likely this is CH at the start. Then we need a name of a worker. A short synonym for a worker, well, there's 2 that are very short, which are ant and bee, as in worker ants and worker bees. You see them a lot, so this one it looks like ant. The other short synonym you sometimes see is hand. So we've got chant or shan't at the start. Priests in centre, well, the middle letter of priests is the E there. Let's put that in. Employ, 3-letter word for employ, beginning with U, use. And this word here is a word which means singer. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce it. Chanteuse, maybe, something like that. Not sure. Let's go back over here and have a look. PS, offer to secure run for African predator. Why can't I get that? Let's get this one, that might help me. Provide for Parisian who has broken old record. Okay, so we've already seen it with L here for the Spanish. This is exactly the same technique being used on 11 across. So here we need the Parisian word for who, and that's going to break, i.e. it's going to be inside a short abbreviation for an old record. So here you're always looking for either EP or LP. So looking at this pattern, it's clearly got to be EP, key inside there, the Parisian word for who, and we get equip, which is provide for. Vocally opposed to tweet may be describing form of betting. Vocally opposed to. Okay, so this is a homophone indicator. Whenever you see something like vocally or as we hear or I don't know, by the sounds of it, you're almost always looking for a homophone. So we need a word that means opposed, and we're going to then try and find another word that sounds like that word. So I think the most obvious word here would be anti, A-N-T-I. And once we get that, the whole clue becomes easy, because the only word I can think of that sounds like anti is that spelling of anti. And now we need, so we're clearly looking at a form of betting here as the answer. My phone's going. Let me find that. So here we need to tweet maybe is to post. No, why won't let me write that in that way, and anti-post being the form of betting we need there. Ah, now I have got this now, and I didn't realise this was a predator. I certainly knew it was a creature. So PS offer to secure run. Well, this looks like this first word here is secretary. Once you've got that, you're probably familiar with the secretary bird. So now we just have to work out why. So here I can see the ending here, offer to secure run. You've got bid for offer, securing R for run. So PS is a sort of personal something, personal secretary probably. So this is just, I mean, this could have been PA, but the setter is trying to mislead us by using PS. So PS must be an abbreviation for secretary. We'll check that at the end. Gives us another very useful starting letter. Okay, and here we see sort of an international radio alphabet word here, Yankee. So whenever you see one of these words, and sometimes they're quite hard to spot, golf is quite a familiar one that comes up, and if you just see golf in the clue, you don't tend to think of the letter G, but often it can just be indicating that. So Yankee here, I'm already thinking that's this Y. So Yankee priest with right to rabbit on. Okay, well, there is a priest called an abbe, A-B-B-E. It's a slightly odd word, I accept that. If we add an R to that for right, we get yabba, which means to rabbit on. So obviously there's a couple of possibilities there. There's yatta and there's yabba, and you just have to unfortunately know this slightly obscure word for a priest in order to be able to resolve the difference there. 14 down, one foresees image promoting men accepting ruling. Okay, well, one foresees. This is going to be somebody who, something like predictor is what I'm thinking here. Image promoting men. Well, image promoting sounds like PR, something like that. And to be honest, the way I've got this is by using the definition, which is one foresees, and coming up with something that fits this pattern. So I think the answer is going to be predictor, like that. And then I can see edict in the middle there, which is a ruling. And around the outside we've got PR, which I think is image promoting, and men, OR, ordinary ranks, or other ranks actually, I think it is other ranks, as in fighting men. So image promoting men there, PR-OR. I mean, that's a little bit naughty, I think, because image promoting, I guess that is PR, isn't it? No, it's okay. It's okay. I was wondering whether the image promoting men is sort of a two things together that really worked, but I think it is fine. Beg directions to cut into tree. Okay, well here I'm sure we're looking for a word that means beg, and then we need to put directions. Whenever you see directions, you're thinking of north, east, south and west, so some combination of those letters, and they're going to cut into the name of a tree. Well, again, the easiest way to get this is to come up with a 7-letter word beginning with B that means beg, and if you can do that, the rest of the clue becomes a bit easier. So I think that we're looking here at beseech, which is of course beech tree around either SE or ES, you take your choice. Let's get this one. This looks like it must be easy. So lived in part of Oxford, perhaps with daughter. Well, lived in looks like dwelt, doesn't it? Part of Oxford, perhaps. Whenever you see the like part of Oxford, it almost always isn't referring to the place Oxford, it's referring to the fact that Oxford is a type of shoe. So you're looking for part of a shoe. I didn't know a welt was part of a shoe, but I'm pretty sure that must be the answer. We'll check that at the end. Injected journalist next to where whiskey is made. Okay, well, injected looks like instilled here. You certainly make whiskey in a still, and a journalist is an ed, as in the editor of a paper. So I think this is going to be instilled. Actors in Greek drama about Egyptian god. Well, you do have to know a few of these short Egyptian gods. Isis, and then the shortest one, Ra. So I think we're looking for RA in the middle here. So actors in Greek drama. Ah, no, I misunderstood this. We're not looking for Ra for a change. We're looking for Horus, in fact. So about here is circa, which can be abbreviated to C, and then Horus and the chorus were the actors in a Greek drama. So I misled you there. I misled myself, but it didn't really matter. Scottish castle is very attractive to begin with. Well, this just takes a little bit of careful reading. So the word is here again. It looks like to me we're looking for is, the word is, and then we're looking for a word for very attractive here, which we're going to put at the start of the word is. And unfortunately, I'm not very good at Scottish castles, so I think I might need this letter to really, I'm thinking glam, perhaps glamis, I've not heard of that. Let's try and get some more letters. E.g. Miss Prisms, okay, turn for home in Scottish city. Gosh. No, I don't know that. Change direction suddenly. Well, that sounds like swerve immediately. Work with forces protecting west. Yes, if you serve, you work with forces, and if we put west, i.e. W, in the middle of that, we get swerve, which is the answer. Extravagantly publicise, place in military band. Okay, well, military band here I'm thinking is a sash, so I'm looking then for a very short word or abbreviation for place, and the most obvious one is PL. And if I put PL in sash, I get splash, which is certainly to extravagantly publicise. Row about French composer showing rakish tendencies. Thinking of something like lascivious, but I'm not sure. Maybe row could be line. So if I'm putting line on the outside of a 5-letter word for a French composer, so who could that be? Ravel? Satie, was he French? Not sure. Come back to that one. Cry about reviewer's initial, description of book. Well, reviewer's initial looks like the letter R to me, so I'm looking for a 4-letter word for cry, which could be blub, and if I put R in the middle of that, I get blurb, which is a description of a book. So go back to this one again. So, a libertine, perhaps. Wow. Again, showing my ignorance here. It's not a composer I'm familiar with, but I think I'm pretty confident putting it looks like it's either Ebert. It must be Ebert rather than Bertie, mustn't it? Let's go for that. Hug cat mostly, unknown in Kent area. Again, I'm familiar, whenever I see Kent area, I'm thinking that's in the southeast of England. So in Kent area makes me think I'm looking at this sort of construction. So hug is going to be the answer. So hug could be squeeze. And I can see that's got a Z for unknown in it. And then a queen is a type of cat, isn't it? So we've got most of queen, Z in SE there. Okay, e.g. miss. Prisons turn the home in a Scottish city. Well, the phrase glub endlessly misused in 10 down is immediately, it's such a weird collection of letters, it must be an anagram somehow, so we just need to figure out how. We're looking for 13 letters. It looks like it's glub without its ending, without its second B there. So if we add the phrase and glub, we can see we do get 13 letters, so this is certainly the anagram fodder we're looking for. The phrase glub endlessly misused in such communication. Bush telegraph, I think, is what we're looking for there. Miss Prism was a governess, so let's have a look at that. How is that working? E.g. Miss Prism, turn for home. Very clever indeed. So this is Inverness being the Scottish city, and we're replacing the in, which is a word for if you're home, you're in, with a word that means turn, as in a go, as in a turn of a go. If you had a go at Monopoly, you would have a turn Monopoly. So here we've got go for in Inverness to give governess, which is of course something that Miss Prism was. So strip joint finally. So again, joint finally, we're looking at the T here. Established by rich man. Sorry, divest. So dives, rich man. T finally gives us the T there. Divest means strip. Genuine doctor almost stops providing a cure. Genuine doctor almost stops providing a cure. Well, remedial is what I'm thinking here, simply because it means providing a cure. And I guess part of my brain was thinking that a short synonym for genuine is real, so maybe I was giving myself an R at the start and then trying to do it that way at some subconscious level. But I think that this, I can now see this is right, because we've put real here with a word for doctor, which is medic, almost. So most of medic is stopping, i.e. it's sort of in the middle of, it's plugging the word genuine there, and the whole thing means providing a cure, which is remedial. Trendy, again, I'm thinking that's in immediately, so I'm also, you can see it's incredibly helpful to have this as the start. I'm immediately thinking that the other end of the clue is the definition. So I don't have to get beyond that first word there to know that this is going to be the name of a royal or a European royal. Supporter cheers. Well, a supporter, short synonym for a supporter, that's a fan. Cheers. Cheers as in thank you. Short synonym for thank you. Tar. Infanta, a European royal. So again, I'm fortunate enough there that experience sees me through that clue without any problem. So clouds looks like something fog, doesn't it? Enveloping English female in spongy ground. Well, spongy ground is going to be a bog. And if I envelop English and female, i.e. E and F, in a bog, I get befog, which means cloud. Pack animals underground home with leaves. Okay, so here, again, I'm fortunate in that when I see with leaves here, I'm immediately not thinking about, leaves on a tree and them accompanying something. I know that W is an abbreviation for with, so I'm thinking I need to remove a W from something. Underground home, beginning with B, 6 letters, burrow. Take the W off, burrow, which is a pack animal. This is some sort of donkey. Bear last of gifts to Austrian physicist. Okay, interesting. So again, we can break this down. I wasn't sure whether this was going to be the name of a physicist or the name of a bear, and my first thought was Pooh Bear, because I think I have the O and the H there. I quickly ruled that out because this doesn't seem to be a construction of letters there that are going to make a word. So then I went back to thinking of last of gifts. Now, last of gifts, it must be an S. So let's hypothesize that that's the start of the wordplay. And then I could see 2 could just be plain there. Could just put that in. And now I'm looking for a word for bear that fits this pattern. Well, that's easy now. Stomach. And then Mac, I think, must be as in Mach 1, Mach 2. Presumably that's named after the Austrian physicist. Let's have a look at this one. Notes male attorneys written about return of capital. Okay, well, male can be M. Attorney is always DA. So if I write M and DA around something, I need to get a word that means notes by the looks of it. Well, memoranda looks good, doesn't it? So how's that working? So male in fact wasn't M here, it was just man. It was in fact slightly longer, so it's man, DA, written about a return of Rome, which is a capital city, and that gives us the right word. So seems mad changing. Again, I'm thinking this is an anagram of seems mad immediately. Looking at the pattern here, that looks like it must be right. And then a form of address in Lyon. We've got another French reference by the looks of it. So is this mesdames? Mesdames and messieurs? Mesdames. That's going to be the answer there. Okay, so we're left with this one, which is the Scottish castle, so I just need to be slightly careful here. Can I think of another 4-letter word which means very attractive, which would fit this pattern that isn't glam? No, I'm going to go with glam. So there we go. Let's see if it's right. The pregnant pause. Come on, internet. Yeah, so it was. So, okay, there's a couple of things we're going to check. I'll get back to that. Okay, so I just checked the dictionary, and PS there is private secretary is an acceptable abbreviation for PS, so I think that's where secretary is coming from in one down. I also did look up Glamis. Here it is. Let's have a look. Glamis Castle, situated in the village of Glamis. It was home of the Queen Mother, apparently, when she was a little girl. So apologies for my ignorance and that. Often you find these gaps in your knowledge when you're solving the Times crossword, and it's one of the the nice things about it is that, you know, you learn something. Oh yes, and Ebert, it was Ebert, he was the French composer, I-B-E-R-T there. I have to confess, I've never heard of him. I think he was born in about 1890, apparently, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, no doubt he made some very nice music. Oh yes, and welt as well. So let's have a look at that. Welt, here you go. According to Wikipedia, Goodyear welt is a strip of leather that runs along the perimeter of a shoe. So I hadn't heard of this, but clearly correct. And just and dives here. I don't know if that's the correct spelling of it, but that's from the parable of Lazarus. So in fact, when you reflect on this puzzle, there's quite a lot of, you know, either general knowledge or, you know, of stuff you needed to know in order to finish it. I mean, burrow, I don't know how many people know this word for the animal. There's infanta there, Horus. So you needed to know a few things in order to solve this puzzle correctly. Anyway, so I hope this was an interesting run through. I've tried to go through all the clues reasonably slowly, which I hope is helpful. We'll do this at least once or twice a week. And yeah, we'll see you again next time on Cracking the Cryptic.